Call the meeting of the Board of School Directors to order at this time. I will let you know that we did have a 6:30 executive session for the purpose of discussing a legal issue in personnel. Would you all please stand and pledge? I allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll. Yes. Mrs. Gelman. Here. Mr. Hauser.
Here.
Mrs. Sosa. Here. Dr. Laughlin. Here. Mrs. Main. Here. Dr. Malfa. Mr. Music.
Here.
Mr. Palmer.
Here.
And Dr. George. Thank you, Mrs. Glazier. At this time, we would have hearing of visitors part 1. Anyone in the audience who wishes to address the board at this time about anything that is on tonight's agenda. Please come to the podium and state your name and address. If you wish to address the board on any other issue, there will be time for that at the end of the meeting. Seeing none, I will move for the adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting held September 17th, 2013, and the committee of the whole meeting held October the 8th, 2013. Second. Been moved and seconded. We approve the minutes from those meetings. All those in any discussion or comments or corrections? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously. And solicitors report, Mr. Nagel.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Nagel. Legislative report, Dr. Laughlin. No report. Thank you, Dr. Laughlin. Education and planning. The students are not with us this evening. We have Dr. Tepper and Mr. Parenka are going to give a presentation on our comprehensive plan. They're up here. Give you an overview of the comprehensive plan for the Greater Latrobe School District and the entire plan. I do have copies that are in the orange folder sitting beside Mrs. Glazier if you would like to look at the comprehensive plan. We will also have it posted online on our website tomorrow and in the local library if you don't want to go online, as well as in the central office. So you are encouraged to take a look at that plan. I'd like to start out reviewing what the comprehensive, and it begins with our 2014-15 school year. And a big change is there is a lot of involvement from each building. Each building level has their own team, so we had 5 different building level teams as well as the district team. This evening we're going to focus on the Chapter 4, information pertaining to standards, curriculum, and instruction and assessment. However, the entire comprehensive plan covers safe and supportive schools, materials and resources, as well as professional education and special education. There are 3 phases to the comprehensive plan, and phase 1 actually occurs with the district level planning team as well as the building level team. And the first thing that had to be completed were district profile questions, and basically those talk about the demographics of our school district, also including our vision statement, our mission statement, as well as our beliefs. There were then several questions pertaining to core foundation, and that pertains to the standards, our curriculum, and our instruction, and how our curriculum and instruction is aligned with the standards. The policy and procedure assurance pertains to the special education as well as safe and supportive services within the schools. And the last phase of phase 1 was when a needs assessment had to be completed after analyzing data where the district level team identified consistent accomplishments and concerns within our entire school district, and you will see those in a little bit here. As I said, the building level teams had to complete a very similar process with the school profile questions and their compliance assurances, which pertains to whether they are a Title I school versus a non-title school. And they identified, and they completed a needs assessment and identified systems that needed to be, they prioritized system challenges within their needs assessments to determine what they felt was a priority at each building and what goals each building should be addressing and to work toward accomplishing and improving. Phase 2 was the actual district plan development. The district level team reviewed all 5 building level teams and analyzed the information to come up with common themes and patterns from the school system challenges. Again, we completed a needs assessment of systems within the district while looking at all 5 plans to determine how the district needs align with the building needs. From that information, that is how the district level plan was built, or I should say, devised. The third and final phase of the plan includes revision, review, and submission to PBE. We have a district comprehensive planning committee, and I don't know if anybody's in the audience here that serves on the committee besides administrators, which the district comprehensive planning committee was comprised of all stakeholders, business owners, community members, parents, students, as well as teachers and administrators, who actually reviewed the plan and made suggestions and revisions to the plan. So what we will review with you tonight took into account the feedback that was received from the District Comprehensive Planning Committee as well. After this evening, our plan will be on display for public review and comments for 30 days. As I stated a little bit earlier, we will have the plan attached to our district website. There will be a link for that. And we will also have the plan available in our local library as well as a hard copy in central office for 30 days. After the 30-day review, obviously if there are comments or concerns or questions, those will be addressed, and then we will ask the Board of Education at our November meeting to adopt the comprehensive plan. After the adoption by the Board of Education in November, we will then submit our plan to PBE, which is due by November 30th.
Through that needs assessment, Dr. Tepper talked about the identification of accomplishments and concerns across the district. And one of the things that I said at our district planning committee meeting last week is when you look for accomplishments, sometimes you have to see, Latrobe, we have a certain standard, and our standard is well above the standard that a lot of other folks set for themselves. So sometimes it's hard for us to identify accomplishments because we're more critical of what we do. But some of these things that we list here, while they might be common in Greater Latrobe, aren't common across other districts. Attendance rates that well exceed 90% in our schools. The second one, PSSA student participation rate that exceeds 99%. You see our scores each year. We show you our scores, and you need to know that we are testing more than 99% of our kids to get those scores. That's not the norm everywhere else, but that's a standard that we hold ourselves to, and we consider that an accomplishment. Our district PSSA scores in all areas are well above the state average. Our elementary schools have met adequate yearly progress since the inception of No Child Left Behind back in 2001. Remember we talked last week about the school performance profile. AYP is gone, and we now have those SPP scores that every school will attain each year. We listed as an accomplishment the fact that Bagley and Latrobe Elementary were identified as reward high achievement Title I schools as a part of that SPP review that just came out. In our high school, we have high participation and success rates on our AP exams, a graduation rate that exceeds 95%, and our average SAT scores in that critical reading and mathematics areas are well above not only state averages, but national averages too. Sometimes, again, those are things that that's just natural, and we have to list it as an accomplishment because it's not common everywhere. Those are some academic accomplishments. We continue. Our senior high school was given the 2013 Silver Medal Award last year by U.S. News and World Report. Our school district continues to have a high ranking in the Pittsburgh Business Times. We've established that K-12 online academic program, our ECAT Academy, which has been successful in not only keeping kids here in Latrobe for online education, but bringing back kids who were seeking that elsewhere.
As well as, if I can interject, with the online, giving students the opportunity to have a hybrid schedule of brick and mortar here, as well as having the ability to take online courses through our e-academy.
Dr. Soltis is always quick to point out the inclusionary practices that we have here at Greater Latrobe are something that we should be proud about. Remember, inclusionary means that our learning support students are in the regular ed classroom and they're receiving support that way, instead of being pulled out all of the time. The college in the classroom dual enrollment programs at the senior high school are just incredible for our students as they're able to earn that college credit while attending high school. The Young Engineers program with Kennemental speaks for itself. We're in our third year there. Carlos Cardoza came and spoke to our teachers at the beginning of the school year and talked about what a special program that is, not only for our kids, but for Kennemental Corporation as well. And we have implemented a K-12 career awareness program through our school counselors, which again, you might not believe that career awareness begins in kindergarten, but research has found that it's important for kindergartners to begin thinking about what they want to do when they grow up.
Actually, research shows that if you wait until those secondary years of 9th grade, it's too late to identify strengths in areas of interest.
Technology accomplishments. We talked about these at Technology Committee, but the fact that we have whiteboards and student response systems K through 9, and in a majority of our classrooms in the senior high school. The BYOD environment that we have at our senior high school further enhances the one-to-one laptop initiative that was started more years ago than I care to remember, 15 years ago. Wireless accessibility throughout the entire school district. You might look at that and say, is that really an accomplishment? Well, if you talk to some of our neighboring districts who don't have it, they're in it. The virtualized server infrastructure allows for that BYOD environment to occur. The movement to cloud-based computing, the Google Drive that we use, using Google Docs instead of Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. This presentation that you see is done on Google Presentation. Dr. Tepper and I were able to work on it side by side on our computers instead of sending it back and forth.
There's good and bad to that, but...
There was. The lady at shopping said they asked if we were married. Apparently,
we went there for lunch.
Yeah.
That's exciting. The deli.
Georgia does sound like you're married. Georgia said she's taking me out for lunch today. We went to shopping. Do you want to talk about coherent and consistent?
Yes. Coherent, consistent technology professional development activities. I know the technology committee, we talked about this as well as the curriculum committee. The fact of this year at the junior high school, all the interactive whiteboards that have been installed prior to the start of school, and the professional development, the 15 hours of a flex shop time at this time is with the junior high, had been previous with the elementary buildings last year, and the senior high even prior to that with classrooms for the future. Along with that technology professional development, also though, is our Performance Plus program where we actually are able to write our curriculum maps, track our student data, and then we will be able to build common assessments from the maps that are completed, and we'll talk a little bit about that which was the kickoff last Friday. But professional development was given this past summer to every teacher at the senior high school in the Performance Plus curriculum connector component, as well as with all teacher leaders who then delivered that professional development to their departments on October 11th. We had a parent who was on the committee who stated that, you know, through those interactive whiteboards, she has children that go to one of our elementary schools, and she said that communication and the expectations, because there was a consistent presentation at each one of our elementary buildings during open house, she just thought it was outstanding to be able to see it on the board, hear the teacher talk, and then ask any questions, and she thought that that was a wonderful tool to increase the communication about expectations during the open house. That was actually added after our meeting. We all know our accomplishment in the arts. With our senior high school having that opportunity to vote on artwork, and not only student-selected artwork, but for the majority, student-purchased in the unique collection that we have. And as you're aware, our Art Gala is coming up here on November 7th. And the community accomplishment, which has just recently occurred with the formation of the Greater Latrobe Partners in Education Foundation, to continue to encourage that community-wide participation in philanthropy and the opportunities that it gives our students, and as we stated just recently with the installation of the whiteboards and the donation from the foundation.
When we look at concerns, again, as Dr. Pepper said before, these are concerns that we have over time, things that we see happen from year to year. So we listed some of our academic concerns here, the first one being the fact that our economically disadvantaged and IEP subgroups do not perform at the same level as the overall school population. So when we look at our PSSA tests, we pull those subgroups out, they're not at the same level that our regular, or the rest of our population is. If you look at the school performance profile that we presented last week, those items are pulled out and they're graded separately. So again, the state is still holding you accountable for their performance. We do have concern that students at the advanced level are not exhibiting adequate growth in mathematics and reading. Just because they're advanced, we want them to grow as well. We want them to grow as much as the students that might not be at the advanced level. We would like to provide enrichment opportunities for all students, not just those students who qualify for our gifted program. We also pay attention to students who are attending the Career Technology Center, because in addition to the IEP subgroups and our economically disadvantaged group, our students who are attending the Career and Technology Center are not performing at the same level as the overall school population. And we also recognize the fact that from 4th to 5th grade across the school district, we have a decline in PSSA performance in both reading and in math. So again, these are some of the historical academic concerns that we have in the district.
And again, just to keep in mind that so many of these concerns were addressed at each building level, and the consistency, to see the consistency in the thought process from the building level teams and then coming to the district level team, it made you feel not that you're, not great that you have these concerns, but that everybody is on the same page and everybody is aware at all levels. To continue with the concerns, obviously with the new PA Core is developing that curriculum that is aligned with the PA Core, and as I have stated, we had our kickoff this past Friday for the writing of the curriculum, as well as each teacher leader presented to their departments either in small groups or individually pertaining to the PA Common Core. Also, the development and utilization of those common assessments at the secondary level. At the elementary level, you have your benchmark assessments with the Storytown Reading Program as well as the Go Math. At the senior high, it's even that much more important to make certain that we have common assessments, and once those assessments are given, time is given to analyze the results and the data from those assessments to make the appropriate instructional changes to meet the needs of our students. We also need to enhance our STEM curriculum, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, K through 12. And one of our goals is to continue to prepare our students to successfully complete an online course. That is one of our goals, hopefully here, to have our students prior to graduating from Greater Latrobe School District who have enrolled and successfully completed an online course. We talk about our cyber concerns. That came out as well with our students that are attending cyber charter schools. Many times with the amount of remediation that it takes for students returning from the cyber charter schools, and the lack of accountability of student attendance as well as their academic performance while attending those cyber charter schools. Okay. So from our concerns, we also came up with systemic challenges, and from the systemic challenges, we actually addressed and we identified the goals. And I would like to say that this goal, the number one goal, to establish a district system that fully ensures consistent implementation of standards-aligned curricula across all schools for all students, that was the number one goal in 4 out of our 5 buildings. When the building level teams did their needs assessment, 4 out of 5 of them identified goal number 1 that you are looking at, where the 5th school still identified it. Yeah, I believe it was their number 2 or 3, but it was not their number 1. The action steps that we have for that is to really review our curriculum, make certain that it is aligned with the PA core, and begin our mapping process. The big thing is to provide that professional development and to give our teachers and teacher leaders the tools needed to be able to complete that curriculum review and curriculum mapping process, and to ensure that there is follow-through and consistency with the alignment, continuously having walk-through observations as well as formal observations to validate instructional practices that are aligned with our standards.
Goal number 2 plays off of goal number 1. Establish a district system that fully ensures staff members in every school use standard-aligned assessments to monitor student achievement. If you have a standards-aligned curricula, then you have to have standards-aligned assessments. And what you have to do is look at the results of those assessments to determine how your students are doing, and then not just discard that information, but adjust instructional practices accordingly. If they're not getting it, to put it simply, if you're not getting it, we've got to go back and reteach it, because you will be tested on those standards. It's not just throw it against the wall and hope it sticks anymore. You have to go back and do that. And we've established these things in some areas in our school district, but our goal is to establish it district-wide. The action steps you can see, we continue the creation of common assessments. We have common assessments at the elementary level through our Storytown and Go Math programs. We need to continue the creation of common assessments consistently across the secondary level. And those assessments, as the goals state, have to be aligned to the standards that you are to teach in your courses. The second action step is department data meetings, talking about the assessments and talking about student achievement. Where are the areas that you can enrich those students that need enrichment, and the areas that need remediation for those students who aren't quite making the standard. And professional learning communities is a talk that we have all the time. And a professional learning community is something that we need to continue to create. I think we have the beginnings of it in the elementary level. And these are just professionals sitting around the table having discussions about best instructional practices, student achievement, and their assessments, and how to move the whole program forward and do the best they very can.
I have a question. Wouldn't it be better to say professional learning community?
And if you look into the plan, it is.
We actually spoke about that today.
We talked about it today, and Dr. Tucker said, shouldn't we put professional learning communities? But if you look in the plan, it spells it out better. And I do use the term communities there, but we want professional learning communities. But what we want our entire district to be is a professional learning community made up of smaller communities. But I get it, absolutely.
Goal number 3, and we prioritized our top 3 goals, was to establish a system that fully ensures consistent implementation of effective instructional practices across all classrooms. The key there obviously is effective instructional practices that also ties into the professional development that is provided to our teachers and teacher leaders. And we have here that it's during seminar time from our teacher leaders within their departments, but also during in-service days as well. And to effectively utilize instructional strategies that are going to increase student achievement And if student achievement is not occurring, what do you do? What do you do with the data? And how do you adjust your instruction in order to have the students not just increasing student achievement, but how do you remediate and how do you accelerate the learners? And again, this is validated through walkthrough observations as well as formal observations within each building, from building principals as well as central office administration. So where do we go from here? Well, we have completed our building plans. Each building completed their plans and submitted them. That's how we constructed our district plan. And we had our meeting, last Monday, October 7th, with our district planning committee and made revisions from the meeting and the suggestions that were given at that meeting. And currently, here we are presenting this information in our comprehensive plan to the Board of Education. From here, we will actually need to do a 30-day public review prior to board approval of GLSD's comprehensive plan. That's okay. So 30-day public review will occur, and then we will bring the plan here to be approved by the Board of Education at our November meeting to be submitted to the Department of Education by November 30th. I do, as I said, have copies here of the comprehensive plan. And are there any questions or any comments? There's so much more involved, but we pulled what we thought was the meat of the plan pertaining to curriculum, instruction, and assessment. There were components that had to be completed by Cindy Soldis, Robin Tynes, as I stated, all the building level teams, Mike, myself, the district level team, Mrs. Swigert. So it's huge. And if you would get online to see each one of the tabs that breaks down all the material, that is what's in the plan that's in the orange binder now. And again, we just pulled what we thought was the meat and potatoes of the entire plan with the curriculum, instruction, and assessment.
This process by far was much more detailed than what you see in the plan.
But what I liked about it, and what we all liked about it, and I'm looking at the building principals, is the input from each building, and each building had teachers on their committee as well as parents and administrators, students.
I have two comments. One is I'm really excited about goal number 1, because that was something that we discussed when I first came on the board. It was a huge issue at the elementary level, and we worked very hard over 10 years to bring this about. And this is, it's a huge benefit to our students to know that a student in Mountain View is getting the same instruction as a student in Bagley, as a student at LES, and that our teachers are working collegially rather than adversarially.
I think that was reflected in the SVP scores last week.
Absolutely. That was dead on. And I'm anxious to read it and see what our STEM innovations are. I'm curious what your plan going forward to enhance our STEM.
I can say we are in the middle of a curriculum review cycle for science as well as technology education. We held our first meeting with the department, with the teacher leaders in the science department, and we have a follow-up meeting on our next in-service day where we're meeting with the science department as well as the technology department to talk specifically about STEM-related curriculum.
I think I've related to you. I have a very good friend who's a chemical engineering professor. She's actually an associate professor at Carnegie Mellon. And we discussed this, how you enhance STEM at the public school level. And one of the things that she came to me, and it's not even her area of expertise, but she feels very strongly that any students interested in going into computer science should leave high school knowing how to program. And I want to make sure that we are doing that they have some experience with whatever computer programming language we're using. And I'm in the basic and training and those kind of things. I don't even know what that's the Stone Age, but whatever it is we're teaching now,
But they know how.
that they know how, and that because I never heard of our students doing that, and I want to make sure it happens because she was adamant that should be occurring. That for all engineering students, they all need to know how to do that. So that's my work. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
That was very interesting. I would like to move for adoption of two resolutions, number 58 and 59. We'll bundle them. The 58 was a class proposal for Braille, and number 59 is the approval of the overnight out-of-state student field trips. So I will move for adoption of both resolution number 58 and 59.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We adopt those resolutions. Any questions or discussion on that motion? All those in favor then please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Those pass unanimously. I would also like to move for adoption of resolutions number 60 and 61. Number 60 is to approve the Therapy Source Incorporated contract for services, and number 61 is to approve sixth grade camp for the 2014 year. Second. Been moved and seconded. We adopt resolutions number 60 and 61. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor then please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that passes unanimously. And lastly, I would like to move for adoption of resolution number 62 to accept the tuition student Anna Ayers, and she's the one here. Moved and seconded. We adopt resolution number 62. Questions or discussion? All those in favor then please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that also passes unanimously. Thank you, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Elder for finance.
Thank you. I'll move for adoption of three resolutions together. Number 63, which is the treasurer's report. Number 64, which is payment of bills. And number 65, which is budgetary transfers.
Been moved and seconded. We adopt resolutions number 63, 64, and 65. Any questions or discussion on the motion? All those in favor then please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Those three also pass unanimously.
And I'll put together two more and move for their adoption. Number 66, which is accepting the audit of the Youngstown Borough tax collector. And number 67, to approve real estate tax exemption request.
It's been moved and seconded. We adopt resolutions number 66 and 67. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Those pass unanimously.
And finally, I'd like to move for adoption of resolution number 68 to approve the natural gas services and supply sales agreement. Number 69, to approve advertising agreement with Alternative Revenue Development, LLC. And number 7, to approve the contract with Hilltop Office Supply for a copier. For a group of copiers, sorry.
It's been moved and seconded. We adopt resolutions number 68, 69, and 70. Any questions or discussion on any of the resolutions?
Yes, I'd like to comment that I think we should all be complimenting Mr. Watson. He's done a lot of work on the copiers, as has Mrs. Tyner. And this is a group of copiers that are used quite a lot, and he was able to come up with a really good deal for us. And we're very happy that he was able to do that. He saved us a lot of money.
Anyone else? Comments or discussion? all those in favor of these resolutions, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And those pass unanimously.
That is my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Elder. And we'll go to properties and supply with Mrs. Kozler.
Yes, I'd like to move for the adoption of resolution number 71, permission to advertise the junior high school portion of the athletic development project.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. We adopt resolution number 71. Any questions or comments, discussion on the motion? All those in favor then please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously.
And I'd like to move for the adoption of resolution number 72, the awarding the bid for the food service project.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We adopt resolution number 72. Questions or discussion? All those in favor please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
That passes unanimously.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kozer. Student activities and recreation, Dr. Laughlin.
I would just like to point out that the girls soccer team has made the playoffs, first time in 20 years.
Wow. Okay. And Dr. George is not here this evening, but there's nothing under his. And under Westmoreland Intermediate Unit Liaison, I will move for adoption of resolution number 73 to approve the WIU Behavior Management Policy and Procedures Agreement.
Second.
The moved and seconded, we adopt resolution number 73. Any questions or discussion on that motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that also passes unanimously. And we will go to WCTC Joint Operating Committee, Mrs. Kozer. Board Policy, PSD Liaison, Mrs. Elder.
No report.
Thank you, Mrs. Elder. Dr. Moffa is not with us this evening. I will move for adoption of resolution number 74 to approve the individual transportation contract as listed.
Second.
So moved and seconded, we adopt resolution number 74. Any questions or discussion on that motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that passes unanimously. We'll move to technology with Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Madam President. Nothing to report other than to say that the meeting minutes are attached to the agenda, and we'll discuss with the copiers and everything we talked about earlier, so we'll put more in that. They're attached. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. And superintendent's recommendations, Mrs. Swider.
I'd ask the board to move on resolution number 75, which is the professional personnel appointment, Megan Welty for the Spanish position at step 2 masters plus 45 at a salary of $47,957.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We adopt resolution number 75. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that passes unanimously.
I'd like to introduce Megan. If you'd stand up, please. This is Megan Welty. She is the newest member of the Greater Latrobe Senior High School staff. She's in Spanish. Megan comes to us from Latrobe School District. I'm sure of their loss. But she's been there for about a year, and she's closer to home here at Greater Latrobe, so we're pleased with that. She's a graduate of Westminster College as well as St. Vincent with her master's. She has an ESL certification as well as Untitled School English. So she's very versatile, although right now the position is Spanish. So I'd like to welcome her.
Congratulations, Megan. Welcome aboard. We're happy to have you.
We're very excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd ask the board to move on resolution number 76, which is the list of teacher substitutes that are on the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded, we adopt resolution number 76. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously.
And I'd ask the board to move on resolution number 77, which is the support personnel appointments Most are substitute custodial and food service, however, there are 2 additional, the assistant swim coach, which you received for a resume last week, as well as the co-teacher leaders at the junior high school in the area of science.
Been moved and seconded, we adopt resolution number 77. Any questions or discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that also passes unanimously.
And in addition, under other business, I would remind everyone that this Thursday is the first Breakfast of Champions of the senior high school at 7:30. The fall play is coming up very shortly, November 1st and 2nd, and the play is called Harvey, as well as our annual art gala is Thursday, November 7th at 6 o'clock. Also, please note the board meeting dates that are listed on the agenda. There is only one advertised meeting in November, and that is Tuesday, November 19th. And then the reorganization meeting will be held on December 2nd, the first Monday of December, at 6 p.m. here at the CSC.
Thank you, Mrs. Gordon. It is now time for hearing of visitors part 2. If anyone in the audience wishes to address the board on any item, please come to the podium and give us your name and address. Seeing none, any other business to come before the board this evening? If not, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn. It's been moved and seconded we adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you for your time. We are adjourned this evening.